Hey there, we're back on the porch with my dog Olaf. Today, I wanted to talk to you about the problem that you can encounter if you're just sucking it up at work and eking through and not leaning into your strengths. And at the end, we'll talk about what to do about it. And as usual, I will tell you a story to illustrate this point. So, for the last few years, I've had a lot of health issues and really slowed the business down. And so, when I finally was able to go back to work full time, I had a ton of backlog, just a lot of details, daily work to be done. Very, I won't say mundane, but it's the daily work of life. And my nature is more of an innovator of new things and ideas. And I know that because I took an assessment called the Kolbe A Index that revealed some strengths that I had no idea I had and that I didn't realize were strengths. And ever since then, I have been on a journey to recalibrate my life to lean into my strengths as much as possible. And I do this with clients as well. Usually, when you work with me, one of the very first things we do is take the Kolbe A assessment. And with personality assessments and any type of assessment that says something about you, I like it if it's validated in research, but it's not so necessary to me because the way I use assessments is as a mirroring tool. So a lot of us did not get properly mirrored as a child, especially in older generations. That wasn't really a thing. Being who you were wasn't really part of the mix of parenting. Some people ended up that way because they naturally fit into the culture, but a lot of parenting was very prescriptive, whether that was religious or academic or cultural. Sometimes it's gender based, but a lot of people, myself included, were told what to think, what to do, what to wear, how to feel, what was right, what was wrong. And what we thought about and what we felt about the matter was absolutely irrelevant and in many cases was actively pushed down. Things were said like, your feelings don't matter, your feelings will lead you astray, don't listen to what other people say, listen to, like, for instance, what the church says or what this one religious leader or this one group leader says, things like that. So that's what when I say a prescriptive childhood, that's what I'm talking about. And sometimes it's just a very strict background. It could be a military background, somebody that had a caregiver that just had a lot of rules about how things should be, and they thought there was one right way to live and everything else was trash. So that's what we're talking about. If you come from a background like that, it's possible that you weren't mirrored very well. And if you want to learn more about that, I would go seek out therapists, psychologists, and neuroscientists that can talk about mirroring and the importance of that in developing as a human being. But if you weren't mirrored, what do you do? Sometimes we will go through relationships or we're trying on jobs because we're trying to figure out who we are. So any other personality test, your Myers-Briggs, your DISC, your Enneagram, astrology, anything like that, that can mirror back to you, hey, the test says that you're this. Is that correct? And that last question is the one I'm most interested in. For me, the Kolbe was very useful. I was actually really mad about my result because it revealed that my strengths were almost in opposition to what I thought I should be as a person, who I thought I should be, what I thought I should be doing, what a good person does. And when it revealed nearly the opposite of that, I really struggled to come to terms with it. And I think sometimes I still struggle with that because the way I was raised was just absolutely the opposite. My largest strength is in ideas and innovation and generating new things and testing things out and trying to change the paradigm. I do that even in careers. I'm definitely not your blue suit and tie and go to school to get your MBA and then go into business and then work for McKinsey. I'm more, let's find the career for you that suits you, regardless of what that looks like. We need to make sure it's sustainable, both energetically and financially, all that. But I'm not interested in you stuffing yourself into a box and trying to live there for the next 50 years. I want you to be who you are and express who you are. So I also try to live that. Well, I don't try to, I live that myself. And it helps me remember how difficult it is, how challenging it is, and how counterintuitive it is in our culture where we're told what to do, what to think, what to be. Recently, I hired an assistant and we were going through things, and she's starting to take over some of the work that's not really in my wheelhouse. I can do it, but it takes me so much effort. It's so difficult. It strains my energy. And the way she's wired, it's actually absolutely in her wheelhouse. It's easy for her. She likes doing it. It gives her energy, that kind of stuff. And as I'm able to start delegating things over to somebody strong in those areas, it's actually freeing up a ton of energy. And I've had, especially in the mornings, like these bursts of inspiration and ideas. And I feel like I'm myself again. I'm like, oh, I'm back. Like, oh, it's so nice because I've very much been trying to hold things together, trying to make things work, trying to get all the details done, even things like I love creating content, but getting it posted out is totally a struggle for me. That's definitely not in my wheelhouse. And I would say 90% of my work was work that needed to be done. It had to be done. There wasn't really another choice at the time, but it was everything that was outside of my strengths. And it's super common. We all do this because sometimes we have to do this. We have to pay the bills. We have to put food on the table. We have to pay the mortgage. We've got to make the car payment. All of those really practical things of life. But what I've noticed is as I am able to delegate or stop doing the things that aren't in my nature, it frees up an exponential amount of energy for me to lean into what I am good at, into content creation and working with people and doing things on the fly, especially working with people one-on-one. It gives me so much energy. I get so much joy out of it. And I had almost forgotten what it was like to be in that state. Because as they say, adulting is hard. It's full of a lot of boring details. Life is full of logistics. And it's difficult. And it's really easy to let that take center stage and for everything to become mundane, doing the laundry and making meals and doing the things that make a life work. And to forget who we are, to forget what it feels like when we're leaning into our strengths. And if you're feeling that kind of stuck, often that's what people say, I feel stuck, but I don't know what else to do. I feel like I don't have any energy. I can't get myself motivated. Sometimes those are underlying health issues, totally valid. I identify with that, so I know that that's very real. It can also be situational. If the work that you're doing is almost exclusively outside of your strengths, it will suck you dry. It will drain your energy, and it takes the fun out of things. It takes the life out of things, and it just becomes drudgery. There's this quote that I heard recently that I hadn't heard in a long time and I forgot. There's this thought of like ideas without logistics are just dreams. And the counter to that is, yeah, but logistics without dreams is just drudgery. And for me, life had become like that, a lot of bit drudgery. And as I'm able, so I'm not saying like you're doing it wrong because you're not leaning into your strength. Sometimes we're in seasons of life where that's just not that easy. But when you hit seasons of life or when you are able, when you can make the choice to step into a job or transfer to another department or move into a role that absolutely celebrates your strengths, where your strengths are what the job needs, you will feel this lift of energy. Going to work actually gives you energy instead of draining your energy. You can also be tired at the end of the day, but it's not the same as like that miserable drudgery. So when you're looking at your next career shift, when you're looking at signing up for a degree, signing up for a career path, make sure it sits in your wheelhouse. It fits in with your strengths. It's not too far outside of that, even if the culture says it's doesn't agree, even if your parents don't agree, even if your spouse or your friends, like you could have friends that are just absolutely opposite of you. So what works for them is 100% not going to work for you. I've had business strategists come work with me and they're like, oh, well, if you just do step by step and do one thing at a time, you just this really normal thing. And I know that that's not going to work for me. Even though it works for a lot of people, it just won't work for me because of how I'm hardwired. And that's okay. And that's the message I want to give to you. The way you're hardwired, what your strengths are, it's okay. It's okay for you to lean into them. It's okay for you to step in to that, to do a little bit more of that every day. Sometimes you have to build up a tolerance for doing it because it feels really scary, especially if it's against everything you know or everything you've always done. And if you want, one way to do that is to take the Kolbe A Index. You can Google it. You can go to my website and go to work with me into the links there, and you'll find a link to take the Kolbe A. You can take a Kolbe A deep dive with me where I will go in depth into your specific assessment and what it means and how you can apply it to real life. I'm really interested about like, how do we practically do this? It can be a really great tool for delegation if you're in management to sit down and help you know what you need to delegate. Because sometimes the standard advice is like, you need to delegate certain things. Like in my industry, they're like, outsource your social media and your content creation. And I'm like, yeah, but that's so easy for me. That's silly. Like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm going to outsource accounting. That's what I'm going to outsource. So it can be a really practical tool to help you figure out what to delegate, what type of career that you're going to thrive in. Like, it explained to me why I struggled so much with jobs that were Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And I'm not hardwired for that. I can't. Entrepreneurship, as much of a roller coaster as it is, I'm much more suited to it. I'm much more relaxed when I'm in it, and it's much easier. So I'll offer that up as a tool. Many assessments can tell you this. The Kolbe A specifically looks at how you take action. So it's directly related to careers and work, which is why I use it and I like it. But mostly there's a message of hope. If you are in a season of like heavy caregiving, maybe you've got kids, maybe you've got your parents, maybe you've got to take a job that you can do it, but man, it sucks the life right out of you. Know that there is hope and there is absolutely a way out of that. I'd love to hear from you, and I hope that helps. Talk to you later.